8:41, welcome back to Breakfast Television. We welcome back to the program Canadian musician and troubadour Royal Wood, who explains the journey that led to his new album. It's right here, and it is called Ever After the Farewell on vinyl. We like this. Everyone is making dibs on who gets to actually take this home after the segment. Welcome back to Calgary.
Thanks for having me.
And this is a new offering that you worked on in London with the producer Jamie Scott, who also worked with the likes of Ed Sheeran. Tell us about that relationship and lining up with that producer.
Yeah, well, when I actually first heard of Jamie, I just heard of some music in a coffee shop and Shazammed it, and it was Jamie Scott. It was from his record called The Hurricane, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was amazing. And then I realized the very last song on the record was a duet with Ron Sacksmith, and Ron's a good friend of mine, and I just asked him about him. And so the next time I was in the UK, I got to sit down with Jamie, and we wrote a song together so quickly and hit it off as musicians and really became friends pretty fast. And he's like, mate, come on back, let's make a record, mate. And so I flew back like a month later, and over the course of a couple weeks, we made that record.
That's a decent British accent.
Thanks.
Not bad.
Thanks.
So
I've been there a lot.
A couple of weeks, and that to me seems like a very short amount of time to be churning out music, but that's typical for you.
Usually it's a couple of weeks for me putting together a record. This was interesting because I would write in the morning and then record as I was writing and jump around from instrument to instrument, and then at the end of the night we'd start mixing a song, and then the next day you do that sort of process again, and that's a very quick way to work.
Right.
But some of my favorite records, Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever was done that way. You write in the morning, you mix, and as another song is being mixed, you're working on the next one. And it does capture all the spontaneity, and everything just becomes a little more electric and real because you don't overthink anything because it's happening in real time.
Right. And is that the best way you like to approach the project without thinking? Is it a thinking hurts the team type of mentality?
I think thinking hurts the team.
Right.
Yeah, there's one record I made in my past a few ago where I really storyboarded and I wrote everything first, and then I did pre-production, and then I talked with the producers and talked with teams and reworked things, and it was so overthought that I just can't stand that album, and it just wasn't a good time in my life. I think creativity should be in the moment. Like all great moments in life, it happens without thinking.
Yes.
You kind of ride this wave. It's like having a great conversation with someone. You can't plan the great conversation. It just happens.
Sure.
This is just happening.
It's just happening live right now as we're speaking to each other. And what was it about the material that you were able to be that free and spontaneous?
I think there's so much going on in my life emotionally, and there's just a lot in the well. You know, my father had just passed away from Alzheimer's, and I just met my now wife and completely head over heels fall in love. So I had these polar opposite emotions that also kind of merged together all at the same time. And when you have that much going on inside, and I'm in another country making music, which is my happiest of all places to be and the most cathartic place for me to be, it was pretty easy. I actually feel like I could have made 5 records when I was there.
Really?
Yeah, it was just that kind of, it was just riding this perfect moment.
Is it easier to harness and write about love or sadness?
I think it's just, it's easy to write about life. Like life is all of these things, right? You just have this sponge full of emotion you can kind of squeeze out. And so far the tap's still running. I don't know if I'll make records for another 30 years. Who knows when the tap shuts off? But right now I'm just enjoying it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sharing with the local audience tonight. So the Bella Concert Hall is the place to be, and it's Thursday, May the 17th. I'm ahead of myself. Yeah. Thursday at 8 p.m. And that's when you'll be taking the stage here at home. Congratulations on the album.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Here it is right here. Ever After the Farewell is what it's called. Over to you, Andrew Schultz.
And vinyl is hot right now, and so is that forecast.